Many video game development studios were known to create some of gaming's most iconic franchises and series. The Sony-owned Santa Monica studio gave birth to the God of War series. Game Freak is synonymous to the Pokemon franchise. And Infinity Ward, regardless of your opinion, revolutionized first-person shooter games with the Call of Duty franchise. What these developers have in common is that they were known to create experiences that were familiar in gameplay, but offer something new to enhance the player experience. Well, sometimes. Unless your name is Nintendo, it's hard for a developer to branch out of their comfort zone and attempt to do something new. One developer that managed to create many different gaming experiences for nearly 35 years was none other than Rare, the British development studio that started under the name Ultimate Play the Game in the early 80s, became a second-party Nintendo studio for nearly 2 decades, and is currently a first-party studio for Microsoft since 2002. Ever since I was a little boy, I fell in love with Rare's games and have come to appreciate them more as time moved forward. In this video, I'm going to talk about a selection of Rare games that left an impression on me. Rather than starting with games I played as a child, I think it's best to talk about a selection of their games in release order. What's funny about this structure is that the first Rare game I played as a kid contained a bonus game that I liked just as much as the main game it came from. That title was Jetpack. When I was a kid, the only way to play Jetpack was through Cranky Kong's lab in Donkey Kong 64. The objective is simple. You play as an astronaut rebuilding and refueling your ship while avoiding aliens. That's it. No compelling story, no meaningful characters, there's not even any music to listen to. Just you and the game's sound effects. Quite honestly, I could just end this segment right here and let the game speak for itself. Because there isn't much to dissect out of Jetpack compared to other Ultimate Rare games in this era, like Attic Attack or the Saberman series. At its core, it's a simple arcade-like video game. As such, the purpose of its existence in DK64 was to earn 5,000 points in Jetpack. Obtaining the required amount of points in this minigame would award you with a Rareware coin, which was required to complete the game. Once I completed Cranky Kong's challenge, I went right back to playing Jetpack, forgetting that I was playing a game within a game. Simplicity is the game's greatest strength, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Now, what if I wanted a game that is similar in concept to Jetpack, but cranked up to 11? If I could sum up the Battletoads games into 2 words, it would be arcade bliss. Both the original and the arcade version screams arcade like no other. What separates this series with Jetpack is the style and approach to the genre. Rather than doing one task over the course of the game, you end up completing missions in different ways. Its bread and butter is the beat-em-up gameplay, but in other missions, you're either scaling down a hideout or blazing through hell itself. Through its visuals, the game feels like playing through a Saturday morning cartoon. From the plot to the character designs, it relishes in its own cheese and is not afraid to be what it wants to be. I don't believe this needs to be said because it's common knowledge at this point, but the series is frustratingly difficult. Mistakes will be made and you're going to die. A lot. It's a good thing that Rare Replay exists, otherwise this video would never see the light of day. For those that don't know, the Rare Replay version of the game gives the player the ability to rewind to a previous point in time. If you made a mistake, you can rewind to a few seconds before. I have used this function so many times due to making so many mistakes in my various runs. The difficulty of these games are brutal and just plain cheap sometimes. Though, it's not entirely the game's fault. The point of an arcade game is to drain the consumer's wallet. Therefore, the difficulty for arcade games are naturally hard. If an arcade game was made to be easy, then its existence would be pointless. SNK certainly had the right idea. If this was any other game, I would have given up from frustration, but I didn't. I continued on and completed both Battletoads games. Sure, I made more mistakes than I can count, and I'm not ashamed of admitting to use the rewind feature more than a soccer mom yelling at their kids, but that's the beauty of this game. If it meant that I can see everything the game had to offer, then I'd say it's all worth it. A bit of a warning for this section of the video. I am running this game on an emulator, so you may see some minor issues with the game. My very first Rare game. Words alone can't express how much I loved this game when I was a kid. This, along with Paper Mario, are some of the games on the Nintendo 64 that were highlights of my childhood. I can remember where most of the collectibles are like the back of my hand. Hell, I would hum along with the excellent music score created by Grant Kirkhope. It sounds like a cliche, but everything about this game is nostalgic to me. And once I played through the intro and defeated the first boss, I realized that the younger me had a lot of patience for DK64. Remember what I said about Jetpack and the Rareware coin? Well, in order to get access to the minigame, you would need to collect 15 banana medals, which are obtained by collecting 75 bananas in each world. But there are a total of 7 worlds where you can collect these bananas. Even if you manage to collect all of these bananas for DK, you won't be able to get enough medals for the minigame, so you must unlock the other Kongs like Diddy, Lanky, Tiny, and Chunky, so you can collect all the color-coded bananas. Oop, did I forget to mention that? My bad. You can't even collect all the bananas as one Kong. You need to go back to the tag barrel, switch to the corresponding Kong, and then collect the bananas for that Kong. Rinse and repeat for every other world. Did you get all that? What? My problem with DK64 is that the game devolves to a collectathon. You need to collect a certain amount of golden bananas in order to gain access to other worlds. You can't even travel to newer areas unless you defeat the boss from the previous world first, collect the boss key, and then give it to K. Lumsy so you can gain access to that world. You need to collect the blueprints to not only collect more golden bananas, but to receive a time extension for the final area in the game. Oh, by the way, the blueprints are color-coded too. Before losing my mind by the halfway point of my session, I thought to myself, how in the hell did I enjoy this game? You need to check every nook and cranny and play as every Kong, repeating actions that are shared among them in order to get to 102% completion. I understand that there are other games around this time period that suffers from this as well, but these issues are made more apparent with these requirements. I'm not saying that it's difficult, but rather very tedious, especially coming from a person that remembers where most of the collectibles are. Would I have the patience to play through DK64 again even after knowing this? Yeah, I would. My earlier criticism of the game stems from being an older person. Present me wouldn't have the exact same opinions as my past self. However, I would look past its flaws because Donkey Kong 64 reminded me why I love playing video games. The memories, music, and charm of the game far outweigh any criticisms I had. DK64 may not be perfect in my eyes, and in others, but I will always have room for this game in my heart. Now, I was debating on whether or not to include this next title. On the one hand, Rare created the original series in the mid-90s. On the other hand, the reboot in 2013 was developed by 2 different studios, Double Helix Games and Iron Galaxy. Rare was supervising the development along with one of the original creators, Ken Lobb. After thinking about it for a while, I've come to a decision. Killer Instinct Gold may have been my first fighting game, but I put in more time and effort into its reboot. This game came at a time when my interest in fighting games continually grew. I was ecstatic when it was first revealed in 2013, but I started playing once I picked up an Xbox One in 2015. As mentioned in my mediocrity in gaming video, first impressions are always important, and fighting games are no different. Looking at the graphics of the game, I can tell you that it's not as impressive now. To be fair, this was the launch title for the Xbox One, so I can't really blame it on the developer. Plus, this game was originally going to release on the Xbox 360. What's lacking on the graphics department, however, was made up for its visual flair. Every hit and impact feels heavy with sparks and impact blows flying all over the screen. And let me tell you that Pulling off combos have never felt so good. Unlike traditional fighting games, there's a pattern that KI follows when it comes to a combo structure. It starts with an opener, a move that starts the combo, an auto double, a two-hit move that continues the combo, a linker, which are special moves or supers that chains auto doubles together, and an ender that finishes the combo. This is on top of advanced moves like aerial combos and recaptures that were added later in its lifespan. Frankly, this combo system seems daunting at first, but after much practice and experimenting with it, it's almost like playing a piano. The music is phenomenal. If you want to get your blood pumped up, then this soundtrack is for you. Before he became known for creating the soundtrack for the Wolfenstein reboot and the Doom reboot, Mick Gordon, along with various composers, created a soundtrack that is unique to Killer Instinct. The actions that are performed by both fighters will change the flow of the music. The more actions performed, the heavier the music gets. My personal favorite is TJ Combo's theme.
I used to be the flashing star, chilling with cash and cars, but somewhere lost my past. Hard, now the combo gym, getting back my art. With the fury inside, you can't match my spark. So, regard for a shot in your chest. I got the instinct to do it in this battle with death. This is my time to rise, you can't ride on my steps. I'm gonna win, and it don't matter who challenge me next. So I can power.
No matter what fighting game it is, characters play a major role when it comes to player attachment, something that Marvel Infinite should have taken notes on. Every character is unique in appearance and playstyle. They range from ninjas, cyborgs, aliens, martial artists, and even Arbiter from Halo and General Rom from Gears of War? As an Xbox fan, I am in love with it. And guess who's back? That's right, even Rash from the Battletoads series makes an appearance too.
I'm crashing this party!
As mentioned earlier, looks aren't the only element that separates each fighter, but their playstyle as well. Jago is the Ryu of the game in the sense that he is the most accessible of all the characters. TJ Combo is an MMA fighter that relies on rushdown tactics, and the Arbiter can zone an opponent with grenades and his carbine. This game was in a unique situation when it came to providing content. Live service games have existed for a while in this console generation, but Killer Instinct may have started this trend. The game started off as a free-to-play fighting game where you play as one character, Jago, and you get to choose what subsequent character you want to purchase, or you can purchase characters in packs. How this works is that each content release is separated in seasons. Season 1 was released in 2013 as the launch title with 6 fighters to start with, and with 2 more later next year. Season 2 started with 2 characters at launch in 2014, and released 7 more until late 2015. Season 3 released in early 2016 with 4 characters from the start and 4 more down the line, along with 3 more characters post-Season 3. This is on top of patches, costumes, and regular updates that enhance the experience. Rarely do fighting games ever have this kind of support, let alone the kind that lasted for 4 years. A lot of what I said so far only scratches the surface as to why I love Killer Instinct. Since then, it became my go-to fighting game for a few years. Maybe I should jump back into KI after I'm done.
Another victory, yes, but there is always another battle.
Awesome victory!
Last week, I put out a very short video about my experience with Sea of Thieves. This footage you saw was meant to be used for this video. After capturing footage for 48 minutes, I felt that I was done with the game and moved on. I didn't have any moments where I was having fun that would warrant a place in this video. However, that's the thing with Rare's games. They have made many different games in their nearly 35-year history that it's easy to find a game that anyone can play. Want to relive the golden age of arcades? Give Battletoads or RC Pro-Am a try. How about playing a classic first-person shooter? GoldenEye and Perfect Dark sound like good candidates. You can always rely on Killer Instinct, be it the classics or the reboot, to get you in the competitive spirit. Or perhaps you want to embark on adventures with your friends in Sea of Thieves. Many developers have attempted to divert from the norm in the pursuit of new experiences. Some have found success in newly established potential franchises, while others are finding it difficult to transition to unfamiliar territory. Rare is one of the only studios that managed to create multiple kinds of games that any gamer can enjoy, in its long history. I don't know what the future holds for this British studio. Rare released their anniversary update for Sea of Thieves, while the Battletoads reboot is in development under a new studio. Whatever the next project is beyond the horizon, I hope to venture forth into something familiar, but rare. Okay, I have some explaining to do. This video was originally a historical overview of Rare as a developer, going over their games and explain what significant contributions they've made in their long history. In order to prepare for this, I played a selection of Rare's games that critics and fans claimed were the best. By the time I reached Pro-Am, I felt that having a historical video wouldn't make for an entertaining video, at least for this channel. There are many other YouTube channels that specialize in that field. Regardless, I hope that the end product is to your liking. Completing this video made me realize that I kept making promises that I wasn't able to keep when it came time to release my videos. With that said, I will only release new videos when they're done from now on. I understand if this upsets you, but the way I see it, this would help me produce better quality content in the future. I will announce future video releases on my Twitter page, so I suggest you follow me there to stay up to date. As for what's next for me? Well, to celebrate Banjo-Kazooie's triumphant return to the spotlight, I will review their first game. Hope you look forward to its release. This has been Opez Gaming, signing out.